elderly locomotive with a friendly personality who works hard. He worries that he's not as important as newer, stronger engines, but has learned to accept his place in the modern world. He's made friends with other engines and values the importance of historical figures like Stephen, who now see each other as good friends. Although Glynn may first appear to be an irrelevant character, there are numerous aspects which may surprise you and make him worth getting to know on a deeper level. This is the history, lore, and facts about Glynn. Andrew Brenner and Ian McHugh created Glynn for the 2015 special The Adventure Begins. His character being inspired by the lore of the original source material, the Railway series. This made the coffee pots canon to the television series. This makes Glynn the second character to be inspired by Railway series material, the first actually being the Earl, Sir Robert Norramby. The Fat Controller built Glynn, the first #1 on the North Western Railway, who operated on the Farquhar branch line alongside the coffee pots. However, when Thomas came, only Glynn remained, neglected and decaying at Farquhar Station. Recognizing Thomas as the new #1, Glynn requested that he take pride in the branch line he once ran. After some time passed, Glynn was found by Marion while she was clearing land for a warehouse. She thought Glynn was a talking tree, but Thomas soon saved him from being scrapped, with Sir Robert Norramby having him restored. This made Glynn the fourth character in the television series to be saved from the deadly fate of being scrapped. The other engines being Oliver, Stepney, and Hero. After being restored and located at the castle, Stephen didn't see eye to eye with Glynn. Stephen then challenged Glynn to a race, and so they did, racing on the main line. Despite upsetting Sir Topham Hatt and delaying James and Gordon's trains, Glynn and Stephen became very close friends. The Earl planned for them to work together on the Railway Museum project, which sadly never came to be. Except for the year of the show's major reboot in 2018, Glynn has made an appearance every year since his debut, until the show ended in 2020. Both in the UK and the US dub of the show, Keith Wickham provided the voice of Glynn. To complement his place of origin, Wickham gave the character a Welsh-British accent. Glynn is modelled after the Type 1 coffee pot #1 vertical boiler locomotive, created by Head Wrighton & Co. in 1871. The coffee pot #1 was built for the Dorking Greystone Lime Company. The locomotive was in service at Betchworth Quarry for 81 years, until it was retired in 1952 due to its poor condition. However, the original builder bought it back in 1960 and restored it to its former glory. Today, it can be seen at Beamish Museum in the northeast of England, where it's preserved for future generations. Despite being old, it can still be seen operating around the museum at multiple events. Glynn, although developed from the Type 1 coffee pot vertical boiler locomotive, has undergone certain alterations. For instance, his water tank has been enhanced in height to make room for the character's facial features. Furthermore, Glynn possesses the same whistle design as Charlie. Glynn is presented as being a cheerful and affable engine. Although he was left and ended up in a place way past his time, and has questioned his relevance as a smaller and weaker engine in today's world, dominated by larger and younger engines, he's embraced and developed into his role as a significant and unique historical figure on the railway, which he cherishes. He's formed strong bonds with many engines on the railway and has grown to value history. He now embraces his old and elderly nature, putting the younger engines in their place. Nevertheless, Glynn has become an icon of the history of the show.